We're a very special. I mean, thankfully, the autonomous things have not necessarily come for the podcasting lawyers, but they're certainly coming from the lawyers, and I think they're probably coming from the podcasters too.
Yeah, have you tried Notebook LM? We
I,
are we are we have an expiration date, much like the dinosaurs.
I can't wait. I can't wait. It's amazing. Modern technology.
All right, so I'm looking through the rest of my list of all of the law cases that have gone on. What about the one? I think it was so tragic that it was somebody else, another car crossed the median and
That's
hit
right.
a truck driver, and then that company and that truck driver were being held liable for that accident.
Yeah,
What was that one about?
We alluded to that earlier. That's the Werner case in Texas.
Oh,
so
okay,
let me set the stage for the folks who have not heard about this case and give you a refresher of how horrifying the set of facts was. There's a driver for Werner. He had been driving for about a week, so brand new CDL holder. His boss, the trainer, was asleep in the berth of the truck. And he was driving in inclement weather. It was snowing, as a snow advisory, but he's driving it under the posted speed limit, probably 10 miles or so under the posted speed limit. In the opposite lane, the opposite side of the highway, another vehicle is traveling too fast for conditions. They lose control, spin out, cross 42 feet of grassy median, and collide head on with the truck owned by Werner Enterprises. And in this catastrophic accident, one child dies, another child is paralyzed, and another one has traumatic brain injury. And the question is, who's at fault? Who's responsible for this? And it goes to trial. And at the trial court level, the jury came back and said the driver for Werner was liable to the amount of 14%. They take percentages and assign the liability. So 14% for the driver for Werner. 16% was assessed to the driver of the pickup truck. But I'm not a math guy. I'm not Jason Miller or Ken Adamo. I'm a simple country lawyer. We're missing something. And that missing 70% was Werner. Werner was found to be liable to the amount of $100 million.
Why?
And the argument that was made is that Werner was supposed to do training for this driver in bad weather. And this driver, had he gotten that training, or had the dispatchers told him, you should be going slower. Not that he was driving too fast, because he never lost control. The argument was essentially, if this truck was going any slower, this accident wouldn't have happened. And that's true. Like, it is true. If that truck was going slower, that vehicle crossing the center line would not have hit it. But that is not how causation works. And causation is this really special legal topic that's really the simplest way to describe it is, but for this thing, would this other thing have happened? And so who caused the accident? Was it the driver for Werner, who was essentially the wrong place at the wrong time, but going maybe a little fast, but still under the speed limit?
Yeah.
Or was it the driver in that pickup truck who was driving way too fast, who lost control and did an incursion, it crossed the median, hit that driver? Is it their fault? Well, it went on appeal. And at the appellate court, they said, Werner is at fault. Now that number of $100 million changed. Now it's $130 million with post-judgment interest. It's a lot more money. It finally, on December 3rd or December 4th of 2024, it gets argued before the Texas Supreme Court. And I watch the entire argument. I take notes of who's asking what questions. And when the questioning was done, my belief was that the Texas Supreme Court would reverse. I thought, based on their line of questioning, it sounded like they were not going to agree with the lower courts. And just, I think it was June of this year, 2025, they come out and they say, Werner's not at fault. It's a terrifying set of facts. It's sad, sad, sad. But just because Werner was there doesn't mean that they caused the accident. The accident was caused by that pickup truck. That's what happened. Now, if I'm a jury and you see this case, you see a dead kid and a bunch of injured kids, and you see a big business, it's easy to go. Like, it's clearly their fault and they got all the money. But that's not how the law works. It's not how it works. So that case is probably the most important liability case in our industry right now. And Werner was vindicated. They were vindicated at the Supreme Court level for the state of Texas.
And so that case is now done.
It is
You
done.
know, that's
There,
and so, because if it were to have not been in Werner's favor, then that would have had from what I understand, a cascading effect
it
versus.
I mean, the question is like, if the Werner case had been upheld, what that would mean for you and me and anyone else on the road is that you would have to anticipate another vehicle colliding with you in the opposite lane of traffic. It's impossible. Like, I go down the highway, I'm driving 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, and I see another car. You have a second or 2 seconds to react when that car starts losing control. It is an impossible standard for Werner or any driver to have. So if it had stood, many motor carriers would probably park their trucks in bad weather. There just wouldn't be a reason to risk it. Now, the small truckers, they wouldn't care, because if they get in an accident, they're going to go bankrupt and move on. But Werner, and they self-insure for 10 million bucks, and then they have an umbrella policy for the stuff above that. So they were very fortunate to win on appeal, but that was the last place this thing was going to go. The Texas Supreme Court was the last place that case could end up.